Holding up the screen now, so I'm on the introduction page. So
Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while. Here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. Welcome to Buckeyes and Friends. Shuffle up and stay a while.
all right, hello Buckeye and friend. Another yearly event coming to an end, so that means time for a recap. And with me today, I had the champion of the Dream Up Team Up format, Jahmil, or by Discord, Jahmil212. I don't have no cool introduction, but if you want to introduce yourself, go right ahead.
So this is Jahmil. Most of you guys know me as half of the plot twisters or that guy that looks like Tevin. And yeah, just wanted to say thanks for putting it all together and keeping the game going. I really appreciate everything you do behind the scenes to keep the community together and making sure that we still have an outlet to play the game and hang out with our friends and talk a little trash.
All right, no problem. Cool. So we're gonna hit on a couple Buckeye things. We're gonna then go through, kind of ask a few questions. I like I said, I don't have no guideline. Well, I never have a guideline, so that haven't changed. a thing there. But first of all, I'm gonna ask a couple Jahmil questions and we'll go from there. So if I may ask, not personal, but why 212 at the end of your name on the Discord? That your
It's
birthday?
actually it's the it's the address of the house that I grew up in.
Okay.
But to be a nerd, I always say it's the boiling point of water in Fahrenheit, so that make me a hot boy.
Okay. I just thought I'd add because see, I know your birthday was in February 12th. Like,
No, no.
yeah.
You asking the hard hitting stuff right out the gate, man. Damn.
You know, like I said, we're gonna eventually so we can spend more time talking about verses. I asked my stupid shit in the beginning, so you know that's just how I get down. So I don't think I have talked to you much on the stream.
No, I haven't really been. It hasn't really been a reason to talk to me on the stream.
Yeah, you kind of been Buckeye adjacent. So when do the recap, you almost a Buckeye, but not really. Then versus kind of ended.
Right.
But we got you on here, so real quick, a quick background of what got you into versus or your gaming background.
Yeah.
This is a quick little thing. Go ahead, you take it from
Yes, me and Tevin are twin brothers, so we grew up playing games together. You know, it's always cool to have somebody that you can play a game with. We usually pick a character and go back and forth against each other's. So Street Fighter, I had Ken, he had Ryu, and Mortal Kombat, I had Scorpion, he had Sub-Zero, so on and so forth. So we've always had a penchant for gaming, and Tevin really is into card games, board games, and all that stuff. As I kind of moved away more into video games and things of that nature. And he was always telling me about versus. I grew up playing Magic. I started playing Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And things of that nature. So I knew, I had a feel for card games and all that. And he kept telling me the thing about versus that he really enjoyed was that no card is a dead card, right? You can either roll it, you can figure out how to use the card to your advantage, so it makes it real dynamic when you're playing. And I remember he came to visit me up here in North Carolina and convinced me to buy the Civil War box. And we started playing that weekend, and I just fell in love with it right there. I went straight to the Discord to find the list of all of the releases so I could try to see what was available and all that, and have been chasing the dream ever since. I went to my first Gen Con with him that year and got to meet a lot of people in the community who thought I was Tevin when they were talking to me. But it was really cool to...
You not Tevin?
It's like, what you doing with the weird glasses on? But no, it was cool to meet everybody in person, to kind of learn my way around the community, learn about the cards, learn about the different eras of versus that I wasn't around for. I think one of the things I always enjoy is when I'm playing against someone, we'll probably talk about it here, and I see a card and I'm like, I never even knew that card existed, right? Which means, for as long as I've been playing, which is almost about 2 years now, there's so much more history and so many more cards and so much jank, right, that I missed out on. And I'd say, I'm sad to see organized play go away, but it gives us an opportunity to kind of lean back into some of the things that we all enjoy about the game and kind of make it our own to continue forward. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
All right, thank you. So before we get to the Dream Up Team Up, I'm gonna do a little Buckeye housekeeping and try to get out the way. So first thing I want to touch on is the UDE league play we have going on. I know people have been giving me reports. I've been reaching out to Mark. So I sent Mark a list back in January of the people who did that. I haven't heard back from him. I just reached out to him again this week, still waiting for a response. So hopefully that still come to pass. Like I said, I'm still working on it, but I hate to say it, one of the things, if we get it, I'm gonna make sure everybody else get theirs. But if we don't, for the people who did get the stuff and began, thanks for being part of that. So we'll still seeing how that going. Right now I'm not taking any new sign up for the UDE league play until I find out exactly where we at with that. So I just want to keep people posted. Just like see with everything else with versus, we're still waiting for information. My chain is the same way. So if you ask me, I finished league back in December, I requested in January. I'm still waiting to hear. Actually, I'm one of the people on the list, so I'm intrigued to see am I gonna get some more cards or not. And I think you there too, Jahmil. So
yeah, we're waiting for some Taskmasters to come through.
So like I said, I don't have no information, but like I said, if you ask question, I'll answer it. But if there's no question to be asked, there's nothing I'm gonna be answering. So that kind of something there. So I won't be taking no new sign up. But if we get it back going, I mean, if they still support, or even if I get the product where they let me ship it out, then I'll take it from there. But like I said, like everything else, I'll keep people posted. Next we're gonna move along to the Buckeye format draft. So we got a new season. I think it's season 14 coming up. So originally the draft was set for April the 2nd, Wednesday, April the 2nd. We will be changing that day to April the 1st. So I will be putting a post after this stream. I will be posting in the channel to all the players, let them know the draft day. So we're gonna start doing the draft on Tuesday. So I took kind of like I won't say a poll because I don't know how to set up a poll, but I kind of gauge the people's opinion, and it seemed like Tuesday kind of the best day for everybody. We'll still stick with 8 o'clock, not unless that's a huge problem. I mean, I want to take opinion on the time, but right now we're gonna every draft going forward should be Tuesday at 2 unless something special come up. And then, like I said, we'll be doing another format in the summer, but I'll talk about that towards the end. So I think that's my housekeeping stuff. So here we are, Dream Up, Team Up. So I know I've been talking about this event for a while. This is one that I had planned way early on. I've been telling people about it here and there, and eventually, put it together, nice little PowerPoint and everything. So I guess the first thing I need to describe what we're doing here. I should have brought that up, but I guess I didn't too bad. Well, I could get it real quick. Do I have it? Boy, y'all looking all into my computer stuff. Oh, see, do I have to? There you go, Team Up. Okay, that way I could bring up the rules so I could not just make stuff up.
There you go.
So,
and even if you did.
Right, yeah, people, it's already played, so this moment is gone. So we did pool play for the first time. So first of all, let me ask you, man, how do you enjoy pool play?
I enjoyed it because it gave me an opportunity to get a different look at a bunch of different. It gave me an opportunity to get a look at a bunch of different characters, but still know that there was other stuff out there, right? So you could see how the other pools were developing and kind of seeing what players were doing what and stuff like that. So I liked it. All
right. So the main thing, so for the people who are not familiar with this, I mean, I don't know how many people we got here that haven't even heard about this, but it's something we made up. So basically, the way it worked, you will draft in 2 team affiliations, 2 play sets of neutral cards, and what pool you was in. So that the 5 thing you drafted. And basically, when you build your deck of 60 cards, you could only use the cards of teams you drafted in a neutral pool. And the other big thing is the MC, you can only play MC once per the tournament. So once the MC would play, it would play much like scratched out from the tournament playlist.
Yeah. To me, that was the defining characteristic of the tournament, honestly.
So like I said, when I ever do my yearly events, I like them to be a little more in depth. I like them to be like a little more deck building, compared to like our format draft, where it's just you can play the same deck for 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. And that's the same with this. You could your team could get traded out. You have to play a different MC. There's a lot of moving parts in this. Like that's why I kind of went with the pool play, where you get like a month and a half to play a game, but apparently that wasn't enough for some people. But that's a whole different thing that we'll talk about and get to later. So yeah, let's talk about the draft. So I got so many windows open. Okay, so this is the final rosters I have on the screen. But what were your mindset coming into the? Well, we didn't even draft your team, did you?
Yeah, I unfortunately mixed up my times, and I got in like towards the end of the draft. So Tevin actually drafted my large team and my small team and my first neutral card for me. So I had the honor, the distinct honor of picking my last neutral card.
Actually, you had 2 large teams, so you could have drafted 2 large teams, but you did.
Yes. So he drafted Defenders, Hammer. And then I had Wakanda, and my other neutral card was In Good Hands.
Okay, yeah. So I have to ask the question: Do he get any credit for your win since he drafted for you?
He gets no credit for my win at all. I still had to build the decks. I still had to play the games. He gonna tell a different story. But if he was so good, you be talking to him.
Like I said, that why I didn't invite him in. I didn't do the full plot twister thing. All I wanted this. I did a 1-on-1 with him, so that's why I said I could ask a question, just get the answer. I'm pretty sure we'll get response later, but I just had to ask the question.
You could ask the Forever Winter King or the Forever Midwinter King how he feel in another stream.
So, but my question is, do you give him like any ideas of what to pick for you, or was it was just all him picking for you?
No, we hadn't talked about it beforehand just because it was so kind of out the box, and I was honestly trying to mull over trying to get something from Photo, just because I have more experience with Photo Illustrated. There's so many cards in Illustrated that I haven't interacted with that it usually is it makes me a little bit nervous to try to dive into that pool. But I will say that the teams that he picked had a good synergy, right, in terms of. Hammer's a large team based off the amount of cards, but it has some pretty impactful cards if you put them in the right decks.
So I mean, I know he kind of like picked a team, but was it like some twin telepathy? Like, were you able to communicate with them during the draft? Were you able to remotely link minds or something? Did your twins still got that, or is that like a
not
thing
as
of the
much?
past?
Hold on, I'm gonna pinch myself and see if you feel it. No, it's not as much. But I honestly forgot that it was going on because I was occupied at the time, and when I called in, I saw what he had picked, and I was like, well, I can see kind of where he was going. But like I said, I only had the opportunity to pick the last card, which doesn't even work with one of the teams that I picked. But it was interesting, right? It was interesting to start it off on that note to say, okay, I got to pilot something that somebody else put together for me. So in that case, it took some of the guesswork out of it, but I still had to figure out how to make these things work.
All right, so yeah, I was also in the draft as well. So I said, but I drafted after everybody else since I see people, pre-list and stuff. And I picked two teams that I thought had I made chemistry with one MC, and I should have did better. I got to do better next time. I don't think I was well prepared. It was at midwinter, so we had this draft at the midwinter, like. Most of us was in person, like almost half of us were drafting in person, which was kind of cool, but probably won't do that again. just because I set up with my computer set up at my house. You've been to my house, so I got like multiple monitors. Trying to do this on just one laptop.
Yeah, with all the moving pieces, I'm sure it got pretty frustrating to try to keep track.
And like I said, I make all my stuff on the computer, so I just kind of put it on my laptop and hope I had everything. So
right.
But if midwinter's still a thing, I mean, it's a cool event, but we don't know if that's gonna still be a thing. But only time will tell for that.
That's right.
So so now let's talk about decisions. So now you only can play at MC1. So what were your decisions? How do you decide what MC you were playing and when?
So that was interesting, right? Because I was going into it thinking like, man, I want to make sure that I'm saving my best MCs for the latter rounds. But you got to win the games to make it to the latter rounds, right? And so that is a conversation that Tevin and I had. And it's like, you don't want to bring your top tier stuff because you look at how many games you need to play in order to win, assuming that you make it out of your pool. So who's like your S tier characters that you would save once we start going into the playoffs? And then who's like your pool, for lack of a better term, of MCs that you would use in the pool. So turns out defenders got a couple, but they ain't got a whole lot. And Hammer was worse. So I just kind of started looking through the characters that I felt like I could pilot. And the other thing is to look at your matchups, right? To say like, who are you playing against, and who try to put in my head who I thought they would come with, and try to counter it as best as I could.
All right, so So you went 5-0 in pool play, correct? And you play. Did you play 4 of your games or 3 of your games? Actual play.
3 of my games.
3 of my games. So you didn't get Francisco, and then.
Yeah, I didn't play Francisco, and I didn't play.
I know Rob's reported your game. Did y'all actually play a game?
No, maybe I played 4 of them then.
Okay, you played 4 of them. Okay, you played 4. And
I think I played 4. That's correct.
Yeah, that seems right. Yeah, because I think the pool 2 was the one that had 2 people.
That's right. Yeah, I played everyone except for Francisco. He wasn't able to get it scheduled.
So I mean, first of all, that's congratulations. I mean, it's not like you had a sluggish pool of play. Well, I think everybody's a player now at this point. Everybody got their chance. I just know my experience was everybody brought their best MC against me. I don't know if I'm a guy intimidated presidents, like this is the final boss, I got to bring my A game.
Right.
Just to kind of describe it, like we're going to use Dawson playing A, for example. He played Tevin with Zemo. Photo, the
Okay.
fill-in photo. Baron, is it Baron Zemo, Helmut Zemo, whatever he is? He's Zemo.
Right.
He played me an hour later, and he used Mano Loki against me.
He took the gloves off, huh?
Right, like no, like same thing with Archie. Archie, like I said, he had the new Scarlet Spider-Man against me.
Mm-hmm.
He played Tevin. I forgot who he played Tevin with. Well, like, why didn't I get that matchup type thing?
Right.
So, but either way, I'm a little sorry that I got stacked on, but I guess when you run the event,
That's because your reputation precedes
Right.
yourself. That's all. It's the highest form of respect.
right.
I'm gonna bring my best stuff.
So real quick, do you remember any of those games you played?
I do. I hope I remember the MCs that I played. I do remember. So I played Elijah first.
Let's go to the results. We could just
Let's do
keep
that.
it simple and go to the results because you can see my screen. Am I going too high?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I went past it. Oh no, this is still February, January. Yeah. Okay, so we'll just go through the game real quick since we're here.
Yeah.
So Elijah played Rob. So that's theft against Captain Marvel was. How do you lose that with Captain Marvel against him because he can't take negative counters.
Right.
That I would be intrigued to see how that outcome came to be, but I guess the support character is still pretty strong.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had so that was that. No, I'm not at the top. No, I definitely didn't start at the top. The first game was no, I'm still not at the top. Okay, let's try this again. The first game was Craven the Hunt against MCU Odin. I guess if you get Odin into that sleep, then Hunter Craven could start getting hit plus ones. Yeah. Let's see, Chameleon again. I'm just gonna look at the MC. We ain't gonna worry about play. We're gonna look at the MC quick. Chameleon against Mystique. I don't even know which Mystique that was, but I guess I would. He had the A-Force one. He had the the female Fatale. I can see that. And then MCU Wasp against Groot. Yeah, because Groot got so.
I can see that work.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what teams they have. So like I said, we just winging it here.
Mm-hmm.
So that could play a major role in some of these choices.
Yeah, some of those neutral cards came in and really changed the tide of the game for sure.
Human Torx against Deacon. Yeah, taking out neutral cards, I think make a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Because I say everybody ain't got the shock.
Right.
But let's just get to your game because it's hard to really gauge the game without knowing it. So let's see who your first game was against.
It was against Elijah, I believe.
Okay. Oh, there, go right here. Daredevil versus Green Goblin.
Yeah,
quick recap, go.
I hadn't played against Green Goblin at all just because like those bombs, I didn't know how those bombs worked really. And so my strategy was to pick Daredevil, who was always a good pick, and just try to punch him in the face as much as I could. And I didn't know if he was going to come with the actual Sin 6 or one of the main characters. And he came with Green Goblin, so we went back and forth. And we're trading wounds on every turn. And unfortunately for Elijah, I got to a point where I was able to use 3 reality shifts in a row.
Okay.
So it reset the wound count. I think I got him up to 2 away from fatal, and I went down to 0. And he wasn't able to outlast me having all my lives back and getting the win there. But he had me on my fatal wound, and I was able to pump back up using the reality shifts.
Okay, and then after that, you traded your good hand for his Isosphere.
Correct.
Since you had an evil team at that point.
Because I had an evil team, so good hands only ever worked for me if I went mono.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then your next game against Vern.
Yeah, so interestingly enough, Vern didn't pull any of the locations that he needed, which is why I said he didn't get any veggies. He didn't pull any greens with Blob, and we were able to continue to get our card draw and use our supporting characters from defenders to get it done. Iron Fist is a mean man when he got them reds on the board.
And we're gonna be hearing that story again with Vern, right?
Seems to be a theme.
All right, moving along. Now we got you at Scott.
Yeah, so this one, I was really proud of putting this deck together because I had seen it done to me before with Moon Knight, and he comes out the gate so strong, being able to shoot with the 7.3. Went up against OG Vision, which I had not played before.
Right.
And we went back and forth for a little while, but I was able to get the win out. Just it's hard to not get hit when you got 7.3 at the onset. And so that one, that's where I took the isosphere.
You got the unwavering.
No, I'm sorry. I took unwavering loyalty. Yeah. And that ended up coming in big for me towards the end.
Yeah, you had. And then I think Rob was your last game against the new Jessica Jones against Bulletproof Black Panther.
Mm-hmm. So that one, I know. You know what? I don't think we were able to play that one.
Okay, they just reported. Y'all just reported. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go through my game real quick since I did play in this. I want to give a shout out to the people I played against. So first game I know was against Tevin. Oh yeah, so Galactus against Bar Creature. I got him close, and then he got the he had too many flyers because the fight folks just had too many flyers. I couldn't clear. I had him to like 5 wounds because I was able to hit him early. But yeah, I couldn't. He had flyers up front. I couldn't clear it. So that was first game. Next I played Jamar. He had Quake, and I had a resistant Iceman, or I guess the only Iceman MC. I got a couple quick wounds on him, but he was able to get that. He again got that on the ship. I forgot what it called, but
Monaco or the
3-3 that give you the 3-3. Not the helicarrier, something smaller. But yeah, he had that equipment. He had 3-3. He got flight and like I said, he was putting people in the back that I couldn't get to. So, and Iceman with 1 defense, I don't think I leveled that game. Yeah, so
right.
So I got good, but then like I said, just got finished off. So that there. Toons against Rio's Walter Skinner. This is the only person that did pick one, but yeah. So runner is real good with Toons because are you familiar with Toons? Yeah, you probably are.
Yeah, if he's between 2 cards, then he can't be attacked, right?
The thing, and the thing about running, even when running face down, he's still a card.
Right.
So usually you had to get. So normally people do that. They use the 2 COSs to squeeze and put. But when I was able to do running and COS, so I would suicide my run until one of his characters.
Right.
And then had the COS on the other side on the red, so I would constantly Toon would never get hit. So I got hit like the first 2 turns, and then after that. So I gave him my monster of the week, took his bureau.
That's a dirty game you playing there.
And then Archie, like I said, he had his Scarlet Spider, the new one against Gambit. Yeah, I was able to get a bunch of discard to kind of I was able to use Gambit power to I had to so since I had the lone gunman now, I could level Gambit pretty easily, and then. Once he leveled, I could pay and get, if I had a card in my KO power, I could go get a copy of that card from my deck with Gambit superpower. So he'll kill my max. Like, well, I just go get another max.
Right.
Or if I had a piece of the lone gunman, I'll go get that piece, another piece so I could power up. But he eventually got too big. He gave him Ferocious. Ferocious is dogs. And like I said, the build is pretty much all guns.
Right.
And I had a lot of guns, and once he got that on there, like dogs, I can't hit him. And he was ferocious, so yeah. And then finally, I think my last game was against Rogue against Loki. I got to a quick start, but Loki's still going Loki.
Loki's gonna be Loki, yeah. Loki gonna be Loki.
Okay, so then we'll go to the results. Okay, so now the final results was so I think only 2 teams from East Pool didn't make it. So comparing pool play to weekly play, which one do you prefer?
I actually preferred the pool play. It was more of a relaxed setting in terms of scheduling, which I'm sure you'll have some commentary on. But for me, it allowed me to kind of, and it it forced us to kind of coordinate on our own and kind of reach out and see where everybody was at.
And then the next question, do you think there was too much time, not enough time? I mean, I thought it was more than enough. We started.
I think it's a double-edged sword, right? I feel like it was more than enough time that we needed to play the game, but there was no sense of urgency until the end. Right.
So I mean, I think my biggest mistake was I should force people like after 2 weeks, like you have to play at least one game within 2 weeks. That's something like I said I probably
some kind of force and function to make sure that people are participating
Yeah.
at a
So like I
at a
said,
certain.
so if you can't play that one game within the 2 weeks, then we could because I said the 0-5 team was some of the which is mutual losses.
Sure.
So I mean, so that way I could get them out earlier so we could figure it out.
Right.
So you ain't waiting for one person who's not doing no communication. I don't know what kind of communication you did with Francisco, but we had like pool chats and stuff. But it's like I can kind of see, but that's the only thing I would change. But I think next year event probably will be pool play again.
I enjoyed it. Like I said, given the freedom to be able to play the games on our schedules, but I do agree that some type of thing to make sure people are engaging in a meaningful way would just make it helps for everyone that is engaged and is trying to play games versus people. Life happens and sometimes you just can't.
If you got drive, I will find out. So the 2 week part, like you gonna play your game,
right?
If not, yeah. So take care of it that way. So let's go to the bracket.
Yeah.
So you earned the first round bye. So like I said, the bracket went by ranking. So even though you were 5-0, you would consider C, which is like the 3 seed, because you were lower rank at the time than Mitch and Tevin, who were also 5-0.
At the time, being the opportune frame.
We will bring that up. Apparently, that's something you probably want to look at and show to people. So we'll get to that. So that means you had a first round bye. So you were playing. You were gonna play the winner of Vern in the playing game, but the playing game did not happen. Mm-hmm. So they took a double loss, and then we got Vern. So you played Vern again. Oh yeah, I guess I could go back to the fucking thing. Yeah, I just said fucking.
So this was the part where strategy wise, it was like bring your best stuff, right? Because you lose this one, you out. So, but that's where I really enjoy the part of the league where you couldn't use a repeat MC.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, hey, you got to try to figure out how to make this work with what you got left.
Right.
Not I can always just bring my best stuff the whole time. And Vern presented a interesting matchup for me only because with the hammer, a lot of their characters will end up switching sides at the end of your turn if it's a resistance, a brotherhood, or an X-Man. And I was trying to go cloak and dagger heavy, just kind of shut it off so that you got to make some hard choices or have a lot of 2 health characters if you want to continue to play the game. So it was interesting for me because I had to switch up my whole strategy, right? And I ended up going with OG Luke Cage just based off the fact that he had the heals. I could stick around for a while, and then I could hopefully count on the supporting characters to get it done.
All right. So
I wasn't expecting Mesmero. I'll tell you that much though.
And like I said, he didn't get no locations again, right?
Yeah, it was another game where he didn't have no locations. So that's my secret tech.
So so let me ask: is it easy to force trade in single elimination since he's not using the team anymore? Or did when you were force trading with people doing the pool play, was like, man, I'm about to get them some garbage that I don't want, or did he have any thoughts doing?
It was interesting because I had been, again, I'm not super well versed in verses, so I kind of gravitated towards the team I had, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna just rock it out because I know this team, I know these cars, I'll play it. But then when I looked at the MCs I had left, and we were scraping the bottom of the barrel at this point, and Vern had to convince me to take Brotherhood. He's like, man, if you don't take Brotherhood, he's like, if you do not take Brotherhood up off me, man, you doing yourself a disservice, right? Because he's like, I still got all these good MCs left. And I was like, nah, I'll just stick with what I got. And we talked about it for a little while. I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to take Brotherhood up off you, man. That's like, it don't make no sense for me to stick around with Defenders after I had already used most of the characters.
Right. So then we get to the plot twisters.
Yeah, man.
So, any quick recap on this game?
I think who I ended up going with. I ended up going with Mantle Magneto
against Ezekiel.
Yeah, so I knew he was coming with Ezekiel because he had piloted that deck in Midwinter to get the win. And I do the majority of my testing against her, so I kind of know what's in his mind in terms of this approach in this deck and what he was trying to do. So my goal with Mantle Mags was like level quick with Astra and just try to get in as many melee combats as I can to try to put the wounds on him, and we ended up staving it out to get the win. Tevin wasn't able to get his stuff off with his supporting characters and all the tricky stuff he likes to do. We steamrolled him, so and ain't nobody here to say otherwise. So he lost real bad.
Right,
he lost real bad.
I don't even know why he played the game. He knew he was.
I don't even know why he played the game. It's charity at this point. But
Right.
did I? Well, I don't think I traded for anything in that matchup.
No, you took a Spider Friends.
I did take Spider Friends. That's right. Yeah, because Hammer was not doing anything for me at that point, and that's because I didn't realize what made a large versus a small team. This entire time, I thought Hammer was a small team.
Right.
And you were like, nah, they've got this many cards, so they're a large team. And I was like, oh yeah, they can go. They can definitely see the curve.
Yeah, since you didn't see the draft, because obviously that stayed on the screen during the whole draft.
Right. So I was, I was like, I'll be a fool to leave Spider Friends on with all the good cards they just got with these most recent expansions. I'd be a fool to leave them on the show.
So finally, you step up against Mitch.
Yeah, so very very nerve wracking. I'll tell you that much.
So
Mitch with X-Men, nonetheless.
Yeah, he had X-Men. So he had X-Men because he had Omega, which that only counts for one support character.
Right.
Unless you use their main, then you have no support characters from now.
Right.
So Toad against Fancy. And like I said, Mitch did record these games. He put them up on my channel in the Discord, so you can't see these. But quick recap of that game.
Yeah, we were just able to get out to a fast start. I was able to level Toad pretty early. Astra came through when I needed her to. And it ended up with Mitch not getting the lokes that he needed when he needed them. Because, sometimes when you're going against Banshee, sometimes when you attack, you're going to get dazed. You know what I mean? And so I had the greens that I needed and ended up winning on a Fierce Pierce. To get through back on Banshee and he didn't have the Loke to daze me out, or he didn't have the flyers to block the people that I had coming over the top. So I was super grateful to be able to have the Lokes that I needed when I needed and have the strategy work. But when I tested against Tevin, Banshee was the only thing that made sense to play out that as an opening. So I could say I had a lot of practice going up against Banshee up until that point.
So then you took his lead. That way you would have priority.
Exactly. Yep.
The next game, and then
Tedder gave me a lot of grief for it because he's like, why would you leave him with X-Men? It's like the support characters in X-Men are some of the best. He's like, how you gonna play the game if you get frozen out the gate for the first 3 turns? I was like, you're not wrong.
Right, but you don't want to go against Spider-Friend and also give him House of Magneto. Magneto.
Yeah, I wasn't giving up nothing that I had because Mitch could do crazy things with those people.
Right, so
like at least I know what box he got to stay in.
So then finally, he like I said, you had the Magneto. I don't know how that made it to the end.
Yeah, I guess somebody was trying to save him.
Yeah.
But again, after I won that first game, there was no illusions about who I was bringing to this matchup. So I was like, all right. And Tevin was basically telling me, he's like, Magneto is basically autopilot as long as you draw the cards that you need. Right. And I was like, cool. So, we recorded this game as well. Yeah. I got the early level. Now, I will say I've never seen the Omega Jean Grey card.
Okay.
So I didn't know what she does. So when he put his MC down and I saw Jean Grey was a 2/2, right. I was like, oh, okay. Like, I should be able to put a bunch of wounds on him.
And you go first, right? Yeah, and you were going
first.
Right,
I'm going first. So I was like, unless he got a lot of plot twists or he can freeze me out, I should be able to, at least keep pace. Right. And interestingly enough, in this case, Mitch had nothing but locations. In his opening hand, he drew 6 locations.
Ooh.
And it's like it was hard for him to recover at that point.
Yeah, because you don't have enough 1-drops because he only got the X-Men. Normally with Jean Grey, you want to put a bunch of 1-drop. Ideally, she'd be like with Sentinels.
Right. You want to put a 1-drop that I have to kill. And his first supporting character that he was able to play was Lockheed.
Right.
He got 2 health, and I was like, yeah, I'm not. So I could put Lockheed down and then get a wound. Right. You know what I mean? But it didn't work out in his favor in terms of him getting the cards that he needed. Because the strategy he was going for was to put down a Rachel. I always call her Rachel Summers, and I get it wrong. Who's the one that copies all the powers on X-Men?
Hope Summers.
Hope. He wanted to put a Hope down and then get the multiple men down and get a Sage down, and then I'm toast. Right? Like she's back there just doing whatever she wants to. Right. Now I will say that Mitch leveled to level 3 and used her power, and I did not know that she did that.
What did he take from you?
He got my deck. He took my deck. He took my deck, right? So at the time that he took my deck, I only had 2 cards left in my hand. I had a Zorn, and I had a Always Attack.
Okay.
I had 6 resources, and he had 2 wounds left to give. But he had knocked on my I put the 10 counters on because I had a mag mount. He knocked on my counters off, so I'm like, I don't actually know if I can win this anymore, right? I have no more cards to draw, I had no reds, right? And everything on the table is what I had. So when it came back around, I could have either used the plot twist to save off an attack, or row it so that I can get Zorn out. But again, I don't have any location, so I can't use the green.
Right.
And it ended up working out in my favor to where I held off one turn and I just didn't play a resource at all and tried to get my attacks through. It didn't work. And the next turn, I was able to roll, put Zorn down, heal a wound from Unis. So now I had Unis, Zorn, and Mags leveled that could all fly, and we were able to get a combination of attacks off that got back through to Jean Grey before he could stave it off. So I was just as surprised as anyone that it worked out that way, because I was going to roll that Zorn early, because I'm like, it's turn 3, I got a 7 drop in my hand. I don't, he's not going to be relevant till later in the game.
I got to ask the question, why would you even roll him anyway?
I mean, I'm still learning the game.
Right, because you got 2 cards, you have no deck, you have 2 cards.
Oh, no. I was going to roll him earlier before he took my deck away.
Okay, got you, okay.
Yeah. Before he took my deck, I had him like turn 3. Okay. So I'm like,
right.
I could draw into some other stuff if it gets late. Not knowing that Jean Grey's going to take my entire deck away if she levels.
Right. Okay.
So it just worked out that I kept the right cards at the right time and was able to get it through. Yeah. But I was sweating bullets because again I had him 5 of 7 wounds, and then we cruising. I got on my counters and he leveled up and took that deck away. I was like, I might lose this.
Hey, do you have if you had to go to game 3? Do you have an MC in mind that you were gonna play? You didn't even think past Magneto.
I was gonna go with OG Scarlet Spider.
Okay.
And use the web just to. A game with him is going to go at least to set turn 7 or 8, right? And it's like, all right, just try to overpower him with the supporting characters. Okay. But I don't think I would have been able to pull it out. Just, the low drops on X-Men are so good that they freeze you out from playing the game, honestly. And then once you get your stuff going, it's hard to overcome. When Sage come out, you got a problem no matter who you play with.
Right, okay. Well,
but yeah, I was going to go OG Scarlet Spider and try to make it work.
All right. Well, congratulations.
Thany you, man. I appreciate it.
Event win. I mean, like I said, not the big, super, not the big, heavy advertised event, but it's still an event. You still won it. People were still playing.
I appreciate everybody that came out and played. I appreciate all the opponents I played. I say it was still the usual suspects towards the end. So to me, it felt just as sweaty as Gen Con.
Right. So basically, this earned you the right to name the next event. The next yearly event.
Okay.
And let me talk about prize. Let me go to prize support because I haven't really said much about it, but there is prizes for the top 8. So I'm pretty sure you said so. So basically, like I said, the first and second place could the first place could either pick 8 cards that's on this list that you see that everybody probably see, or you could get one of the play mats, or you could get the top 2 could get one of these board games.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and have you come up out that matrix.
Okay, so you I
played that at the first Gen Con I went to, and I hadn't gotten it yet. So I thank you for your donation.
Yeah, so and just to let you know, the judges for this event, me and Rollin are both play testing this, so our name is in the instruction manual.
Okay, that's cool.
So like we personally giving it to you. So
I ain't gonna be mad at having an autograph.
Right. So second place, like I say, second place you get, like I said, this game, or like I said, the either cars with what I said. So 8 for first, 6 for second, and then third and fourth could get either a play mat and all 4 cars. And like I said, I got legendary cars too. If you're into that, if you like to go both ways, cool beans. And I also got a Neopet playmat, if you really just like playmats, cool beans. And then 5 through 8 can either get 3 cars or any of the playmats I have, but the only downside for them is if they get a playmat, they're going to have to pay for their own shipping.
Right.
So because I said, just getting towards the end of verses and I'm getting done, ponying up.
We appreciate you.
So, but like I said, I'll start reaching out to people like this. So the people, I'll start reaching out to you, asking you for your prize of what you want, and we'll get these sent out, and we'll figure out everything at that point. But yeah, there will be prizes for the top 8, And a big thank you for everybody else who played. You can have
Yeah.
your thank you now. Thank you for playing in this event. So yeah, that sums it up. So like I said, we got the format draft coming up. I'm excited for this one too. I'll probably get pickup game, but I think this seems like a fun format. Build a team.
Mm-hmm.
So that I know I got the rules in here somewhere. So yeah, so just a quick little recap. Basically, you're gonna pick pieces of teams, and they all gonna get the same team logo where they'll be able to team attack and use their plot twist for the cards in your deck. So, like I said, I want to try things that are a little more hardcore, but for this event, you can play the same MC over and over again. Right. Or you can try a different thing. And also, like I said, we got trade, but it's not a forced trade.
Right.
You can trade a play set of card with your opponent. Just basically, since you're building a team, you're trying to make your team better.
Right.
So you're not changing the whole team pieces. You just change, like, I give you my Sage and you take my Magma. You know, some trade like that. You get my play set and then you lose. But yeah, so good time. Like I said, the draft is gonna be April 1st. That's not an April Fool's joke. It will be April 1st. And if you want to April Fool's your draft pick, you might be disappointed getting stuck with something you don't want.
I would not advise letting somebody else pick your teams and having to figure it all out.
So and then like I said, after this event, this event gonna either be 6 or 8 weeks. Except for 6, but everybody like what's going on. I will do a couple more weeks because like I said we have nothing that holding us back. Like there are no new formats. Because normally we were restricted by the UDE formats. So we need to get these done before the next format will come out.
Right.
But we don't have that restriction. Then after this we're gonna be doing King of the Hill single elimination tournament.
All right now.
So are you familiar with did you hear about that, Jahmil? Are you familiar with that or do you
I'm not. Why don't you elaborate a little bit?
So basically for this event, it's just gonna be regular straight up versus. You're gonna pick your MC. And it's going to be a single elimination tournament. It's going to be regular versus. There are no extra rules besides that.
Mm.
But okay, so let me add the Buckeye flavor to it.
Yep.
So of course it's going to be a draft. And you could actually sign up for this event 1 or 2 times. So you could have 2 MCs.
Oh, nice.
And so like I say you just have to play at least 2 games a week. If you choose to have 2 MCs, then you have to play 2 games a week. The other big thing about this event is we will not be picking by your rank orders.
Interesting.
So when the draft happened, I'm going to put everybody's name on one of them little random spinning wheels. We're going to spin it, and whoever name come up, they pick the MC. They'll be the 1 seed.
Okay.
And then the next person will spin for the 2 seed. So the thing about this event, well, like I said, because you can pick any MC. So like I said, there's no band, there's no nothing right now.
Mm.
But the cool thing is, the person gonna pick the first one. Let's say they pick Loki first. Well, whoever that second seed is, they're gonna see who they playing against, and they can pick their MC accordingly.
Right.
So like I said, the whole deck, the whole pool is open. So Maximus, all that grimy stuff is all gonna be allowed, but you're gonna see who you playing against. So I mean, I don't think we ever had an event where you building a deck to play against an MC.
Right. You know exactly who's
like
gonna
how
be,
good
right?
is Outriders when the opponent know they're building their deck to go against Outriders.
Right.
Or Master Mode, I think, is the poster child for this.
Right.
If you don't know you playing Master Mode and that motherfucker shows up to the party, you're going to have a bad day.
You're having a bad day.
But if you know you coming like, if I'm on Illustrated, let me call my boy Tim up, see what Tim Uba doing and stuff.
Changes the whole trajectory of the match.
Right. So like I said, so basically you'll see your opponent each round. So you know who you playing against. So you can build your deck accordingly. There are no deck lists, so you can change your deck each round.
All right.
The only stipulation, because I plan on doing this yearly. This is going to also be a new yearly event.
Okay.
The only other kicker is once the MC wins the game, where an actual play game where they actually win the game, they are no longer to be able to be drafted in future events.
Oh wow. Okay. So we doing incursion on the MCs.
Right.
Okay.
So basically, like I said,
so the inaugural will be the jankiest, and then we'll come back down.
Right. And like I said, depending how this go, I may do like 3 or 4. You know, where you can sign up with three or 4 MC. The other downside to this event with us having that random wheel, you can get matched up against yourself in this format.
Oh wow. Okay. How would that work?
you will pick what MC you want to win, and they will move on.
Oh wow, okay.
But
Makes
neither
sense.
one of those MC would get eliminated. They wouldn't get a cur yet because they didn't actually lose a game,
They didn't actually lose. I
a
got you.
played game. So that best way to put it, they gotta lose a played game.
Sure.
So, but then that MC, so like I said, basically, once an MC, if an MC lose on the first round, he could come back next year and try it again.
Mm-hmm.
But once you get your first win, you gotta go all in.
Go all the way.
And whoever win the tournament at the next year tournament, they'll be the final boss.
I like that.
So
That's good. That should be fun.
And I also want to just do regular verses where there are no special rules and stuff like this is the verses you love and join. And basically again all the MCs in there. I mean, besides the band of replace card that Upper Deck have put out, everything's open. You can play anything, any number of times. It's just wide open verses.
That's a wide open versus is a scary place.
Right.
Like I said, I came in late towards the end, so there's a whole bunch of areas that I'm not even aware of.
But the only key thing is the MC you're going against.
So you know what strategies they could put together.
Right.
At least on the MC side.
So do you prepare, try to beat the MC, you try and counter what they trying to counter? So many different.
Tell you what, I know if somebody pick Agent Venom, I know what they trying to do.
Right, so I mean, so like I said, how good is the MC when you know they coming?
Mm-hmm.
Like, somebody could break in your house and, get a lot of stuff. But if you know they coming to break in the house, they're going to have a bad day.
They're going to have a hard time walking away.
Like, I'm going to break in your house at 2 a.m. tomorrow morning. Like, yeah, you better come with that bulletproof vest.
I'll see you then.
Right. So that, like I said, kind of test some of these MCs because some of these MCs are good because they got that surprise factor. But some of them, like, how good are they really are? It's just... I think it's something interesting, just a straightforward, just regular verses. I mean, because I do a lot of crazy stuff, build a team,
right.
Team up, dream up, team up. But let's just do some old school, punching people in the face.
I like it.
Verses. So let's bring up the ranking. I can't. I will be. That would be rude of me. So right now, PJ is back on top. He started on top. He finished on top. Thanks to you.
You're welcome, man.
So Christmas is 2. Number 3 is Jahmil.
That's right.
So
let's talk about 8, number 3, or number 4.
So let's see where you was before the event. So let's go back to 2024. Yeah. So you was at 19.
Yeah.
1,005 points. Number 3 was 1143.
I'd say that's some damn good verses playing.
All right. Well,
you know who wouldn't say that? You know who wouldn't say that?
This is
that guy at number 5.
This is
number 5 don't even get on the podium. That's crazy.
The Black Knight. I'm down at 33, so I don't have much to say either. So
it's all right though. You always scraping the bottom of the barrel from what you got to work with. But that guy right there, wow.
So
big goose egg in event wins. He's been playing for a long time.
But when you drafted, you're gonna be at the back of the bus.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. If ever Midwinter King could kick rocks.
So yeah, I think that covers everything. Prizes, I think that all the Buckeye stuff. I mean, versus gonna still. I still as long as I get double digit people, at least 8 people, I'm still gonna run events, do cool stuff. I mean, so like I said, we got the format coming up, the April 1st draft. We got the summer event, the summer single elimination tournament. Riley gonna work on the next draft format.
Okay.
So I gave him the wheels on that. And then the next yearly event, I'm starting to think about it. But since I'm making so much more stuff, I haven't spent the amount of time.
Right.
I normally do, but we'll have something like normal. But yeah, I think that sums it up. Also, I mean, this is off topic, but if you're not playing Split Fiction, you're doing yourself a disservice.
You're doing yourself a huge disservice. Split Fiction is one of them ones.
It's on Xbox, PlayStation, Steam. Steam. This
video is not sponsored by Split Fiction either. It's that good.
Right. I mean, it's 2
people giving out free promo.
You gotta play with 2 people though. So I mean, I'm gonna suggest playing with somebody who got good hand-eye coordination. I'm doing something a little different, and I'm working on my patience, and I think it's making me a bad man.
That is the one thing that game will teach you is patience.
Because man, so that's a great game. The story is pretty good. I mean, like I said, I didn't play none of the other game by this company, but I will be playing it after this. This game is so good, it made me want to play all that old stuff.
Yeah, it's a really, really good game. It's the same company that the same studio that put together It Takes Two and A Way Out. So
Yeah.
co-op games is their jam.
Right.
But this one they've outdone themselves in terms of creativity.
And it's like it's a lot of platform. It's a bit of platform, but there's a lot of stuff going on.
It's basically if there's a genre, a game that you enjoy, this game is gonna cover.
Yeah. All right, so. But I just had to shout that out because I've been spending 5 hours a night playing it, so it's been taking up a lot of time. So but yeah, I think we're about out, and I think this summed up. Do you want to shout out anything? Oh yeah,
man! Shout out to everybody that was in the pool.
Time out. So speaking of a Hater of the Year awards,
Hater of the Year award.
So now that you won a championship, you've been already challenged by somebody near and dear to you.
That's right. So, the plot twisters have been on a little bit of a content hiatus as life has happened and, Versus is taking the new shape. But we think we're going to start off our new venture with a little grudge match because there seems to be a 5th place Buckeye ranked member who thinks that they're responsible for any of my success, given that they drafted my team. And if he didn't give me that team, then I wouldn't have been able to do X, Y, Z. So we're going to do what we call a little plot twister grudge match. And what we've done is that we've used a randomizer in the same format for Dream Up Team Up to pick each piece of a team, right? So I got 3 teams. The Black Knight has 3 teams. And we're going to do 3 matchups. Or actually, it's the best of 3, right? So I picked my 2 teams. I don't think I'm going to need the 3rd, but we'll see. And we're going to get Dave to commentate the matches. And play them and get them posted is just like, kind of a fun thing as a segue in between the old and the new format. But yeah, man, boys was talking a lot of stuff about what they was going to do or how good they is. Now you're going to have to put up or shut up. It's already.
The other thing about this, like I said, there won't be much practice for this. You just got to build your team and go with it.
Because he's the person I practice with. So I'm just building cold and we'll do it live. We'll do it live.
And I'm not taking sides on this.
So. Now, if I do pull this one off, I feel like he needs to move to Buckeye adjacent, and I need to be a fully indoctrinated member.
So we just gonna switch the 2 of y'all.
We look alike. We look enough alike. You just swap us right on. Swap us right on.
Well, it could be more like Severance. We can make the innie the outie and the outie the innie. Like right.
That's right. So go ahead and swap us right on out. Yeah, we'll be good. But yeah, we're gonna try to get that done this week, so we're not overlapping with the new format starting. But yeah, boys talk a lot of stuff, but they're gonna have to put up or shut up.
I almost forgot about that. Like I knew there's something I was forgetting.
Last time I checked, I was undefeated in this format.
Right? Yeah, you didn't lose a single game, did you?
Nah, I'm undefeated in this format. He hate when I bring that up, boy. I tell you.
I mean, like I said, I know y'all did because I practice with y'all some too, but. Right. I know you got a lot of game, but man, I'm intrigued to see what you do. Just shoot from the hip.
We'll see. So yeah, we used the randomizer to pick all 3 pieces.
4.
I mean, all 5 all 4 pieces.
Yeah.
And we got three matchups basically going. So we're gonna try to get that first one done and get it posted. But be on the lookout for that coming soon.
I'm gonna bring up the teams real quick. So
go ahead.
Hopefully they don't read the rest of our message. Hopefully nothing too. We got the hater stuff, but okay. So right here, look, can I make the there
so
we go.
I got fantastic Earl from Unwavering Loyalty and State on his mind. He got Spider Friends, Babyface, Simon Trask, and Savage Surprise.
So let me ask real quick. Is this the first game, or y'all get to pick whichever one
y'all
want?
No, that's the first game. Yeah, we were gonna say just bring whoever, but that's the first game because that's the same way it was in the pools, right?
Yeah,
you knew who you were going up against, so that's gonna be the first game.
Okay.
Second game, I got Hammer, Heels, Alioth, and You've Done Good, Lad. Those last 2 pieces aren't doing anything for me, so.
I mean, you could build around here, but You Done Good, Lad. That's a dead card.
That's a dead card. Yeah, that's definitely a row if you get it or play it. And he got MCU Heroes, the Monsters. Let's rock in the Space Jam.
Monster Unleashed, right?
Correct.
Because they're
Not
also Monster of the Week.
Monsters
Yeah.
Unleashed.
So
Yeah.
Monster Unleashed, yeah.
And the last one, I got Pro Registration, Hydra, Life on Hellmouth, and Talos. He got X-Men's, Prey, Nexus Event, and TVA. So that's that. That third matchup is if necessary. I do not plan on going to that third matchup.
Looking at that matchup, I don't think you want to go there neither.
I don't. Let's just say I'm gonna try to get it done with what I got to put.
As the one commentating the game, I don't think you want to go there because looking at he got Spider-Fan, was we and like I said, in all the MCs wide open, but I mean,
right.
Spider-Fan and Fantastic on the same level. I mean, that first matchup is a pretty good battle. I think that first game gonna tell the story of this event.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, because I think MCU heroes got a lot, but
with it. You're like, let's just. He don't even really need to acknowledge monsters.
I mean, he don't even need to really touch the monsters. He don't really need it if you don't want to, but Hill's got some things too. But Hill's got some things to match up with them because, like I said, even though they smaller, they still a good package. So
don't sleep on us now. We got some heat with us.
But like I said, the X-Men exists.
I don't.
Right. So
I play tested against Tevin enough with X-Men to know I do not want to play him.
But I think that first game gonna be a big that gonna be the swing game, right?
Yeah, that'll be it.
That really gonna determine who have home court advantage after that game.
I get priority throughout because I'm the champ, the more recent champ.
Okay. That okay. That's a little bit in your favor. Okay,
I know we discussed that beforehand, but I'm saying it now, so he can't backtrack because now it's recorded.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that sums everything up. Again, congratulations.
Thanks, man. Again, I appreciate the work that you and the rest of the Buckeyes do to keep this going. It is definitely not a non-trivial amount of work in addition to your everyday life and everything else you got going on. So I sincerely appreciate still providing a space and an outlet for me to be able to play the game because I've grown to love it over the time that I have been playing, and I know everybody else feels the same, man.
Well, I think we're an hour in. I think this is a good stopping point. I guess I'll be talking to you later this week.
All right, man. Sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you for listening, and everybody who listened, have a good night, good day. Whenever you listen to this, drive in, be safe on the road. I don't know where else you listen to this at. Make sure you wash your hand after you shit. I don't know what else to tell you. Wherever you listen to this,
always dropping gems.
Well, y'all have a good night. And we're going to end this stream. I'm not going to even do the end part.